beat in North.
From the upper basic and senior secondary schools in the region. The students of the Gambia College School of Education and the members of the Science Club. Basically, to begin my talk on the history of the Science Club, personally, according to me, not according to any other person, I will have to modify the heading itself, not per se the history of the Science Club. That is personally based on me to say I'm not going to talk on the history of the Gambia College. I have reasons for that. And technically, I want to believe, because I don't want to mention anything here that will be based on hearsay. We do not, these are not ethics. We don't operate in this manner as far as science is concerned. I want to believe, based on assumption, that the Science Club of the Gambia College School of Education must have existed since time immemorial. In the sense, since the inception of the Gambia College, the Science Club has been existing. That's what I mean. But you see, technically, if we are to look at issues, you may have an individual that one can say per se, the person is living but not realized. You can be a living dead.
Every developing nation will have to transit from the cognitive learning that is cramming, as said by Mr. Yaroba. What is energy? It ends there. Energy is this and this. Matter, science, matter, whatever. So it does not stop there. If we want to be serious as a nation, if we want to transform our nation, it is very essential that we move from the cognitive understanding, which ends in the class, to practicalize whatever we do. This is what serious nation does. They pay more attention on the sciences and progress. So it is very, very commendable from the Gambia College Science Club to have come up with this initiation. It's a welcoming one, and my administration, I think, will have to work hand in hand with the Science Club to ensure that they have the support needed by SDA. And that will also go through reforming some of the laws in SDA to allow clubs within the school to be members or attract to SDA, registered with SDA, so that when such initiative comes, SDA can support financially and in terms of expertise as well. So on that note, on behalf of SDA, we would pledge $1,000 to the Science Club.
Of science. And that is where you find the value of these science clubs. That is where you find the value of these associations. Because they are here to teach. They are here to show us the way forward. They are here to show us what to do in future. Mind you, really learning is living, and it is also interacting and acting. So when you see these people here today, you understand that they are not doing anything more than acting. And what is going to come out from that acting is knowledge. And that is very powerful. So I will encourage the Science Club to continue on the good work they are doing. It is really never going to be easy. Because it's like that, the road to success is always hard. But with diligence, perseverance, and hard work, we will always get to the finishing point. So thank you so very much. The GCSU will always be behind you. because your success is our success, and your success is the success of this institution. So thank you very much, and then once again.
We are 2 hours ahead of schedule, so it means we are late for 2 hours. So I will not take long to speak. I'll just make a summary of what I wanted to say because of such a time. As we are gathered here for this gathering, where we will practically showcase our science that we have learned in theory, put it into practice. So I guess there is no more important activity than such an activity. Because we all pass through learning of science, where we forced to cram facts, use it to pass exams, and after the exams we forget what we have learned. But if anything you put into practice, you can always remember it. Because some of the things, activities that we are involved in 10 years back, you can still remember them because you were an active member, participant as far as those activities are concerned. So as a result of that, we at Gambia College and Science Club in particular feel it necessary to put science theories into practice for it to be more effective and beneficial to the people that it is supposed to serve.
This Gambia College is now moving from manual to digital now. If you want to follow us, just log in your Facebook, search the media club for the Gambia College. Any activities done, you will thoroughly follow. We thank you for your presence, together with Aliu and Samba. Thank you so very much. Good. As we are about to start.
Okay, as I fill this balloon with air, who can tell me if I put this balloon over this candle, what do you think will happen?
It will burst.
Hello? Yes. It will burst up. And why do you say that? Because of the candle. Okay, any other person who thinks that this is not going to burst open? We all agree that it is going to burst open. So we experiment that. Whoa, actually it worked. So it burst open. So who can tell me the reason why actually this balloon burst and not keep up filled with air? Anybody? Anybody? All right. This balloon, yeah? Because of the oxygen present inside the balloon. Do we have oxygen in the balloon? We do? The air that is filled in the balloon. Okay, the hydrogen family will buttress more in that aspect as to which air is filled in a balloon, okay? The reason why this balloon burst open is because the air inside the balloon cannot absorb the heat. It is not a very good conductor of heat. It cannot absorb the heat. Maybe if it is going to absorb heat, it is going to be a little quantity but not much. So the plastic or the rubber, that is the balloon, it is going to absorb the heat. So the part that is absorbing the heat will expand. As it is in contact with the fire, it is going to expand. And as the collision of the molecules of the air inside the balloon, then this balloon will burst open. So we are also going to try another experiment here. I am going to fill the same balloon here with water. And let us see the result of that one as it unfolds. I hope we are all watching. So we put the balloon over the bottle to have some content of water inside the balloon.
So you want to give an interview?
There you go.
Voice record, do you want my video film? Come on,
So we have water inside this balloon. Who can tell me if I put this balloon over this fire, what do you think will happen? It won't. Why?
Find an insect or not? Alright, you can give me that answer later. To me, spider is an insect, okay? Now, when you talk about endoskeletal system, you define it to be, it's a type of skeletal system whereby the skeleton is found inside the body of an organism. Example, human being, or you can say what? Products, right? Good. And then you have hydrostatic skeletal system, a skeletal system whereby the skeleton is in a form of what? Fluid. Example, annelids, worms, alright? Earthworm. It has a skeletal system, but the type of skeletal system that it has is what? Hydrostatic skeletal system. Okay? So we have like pictures of all those types of skeletal system we have, but we will not be able to show it. Now, let's talk about human skeletal system to be specific. When you talk about human skeletal system, you further divide it into two. Alright? You have axial skeletal system and appendicular skeletal system. Okay? Axial skeletal system and what? Appendicular skeletal system. Axial skeletal system consists of what? The skull, the sternum, ribs, and the spinal cord. Are you getting the point? Axial skeletal system is divided axial skeletal system consists of the skull, the rib, and the spinal cord. What of appendicular skeletal system? Limbs, alright? Upper and lower extremities, and also pelvic and pectoral girdle. So we move ahead. Now, let's talk about joints. You cannot talk about skeletal system without talking about what? Joints, alright? Imagine what will happen if your skeletal system is like completely one bone. Can you move? Can you eat? No. So joints help us to what? To move. So who can define joints for me? What is a joint? What is a joint? A joint is a place where two or more bones meet, alright? A place where two or more bones meet. Now, away from that, let us talk about types of joints. You have movable joints and immovable joints. As their name implies, movable joints are joints that allow movement. Immovable joints are joints that do not allow movement. Give me one example of immovable joints. The skull of a human being, is it made up of only one bone? The skull is made up of many bones, flat bones, alright? So those bones are joined together, are cemented together by what? Immovable joints. The skull, the bones of the skull don't move. Alright? Though there is an exception, like there are some animals, in those animals the skull moves. For example, if you look at snake, the reason why a snake can swallow a huge animal, if you read it, you understand that, like their skull moves. Alright? Now, these joints of the skull are cemented together by a structure called sutures. Alright? At your early stage, you have what? Holes in between the flat bones of the skull. That is why in babies, if you observe here, what do you observe? It keeps constantly on going up and down, because at that stage, the bones are yet to fuse together. Alright? So it is sutures that fuse these flat bones together. So that is why example of immovable joints are what? The flat bones of the skull. And then you have types of those sutures also, but we will not dwell into that. Now, away from that, when you talk about movable joints, there are types of joints that allow what? Movement. So let's talk about types of movable joints. We have 4 types of movable joints. One is what? ball and socket joint. All right? This type of joints allow movement in 360 direction or in all directions. For example, at your arm, the joint there is what? Ball and socket joint. You can what? Twist it 360 degrees, okay? Now, away from that, the second type of movable joint, you have what? Hinge joint. Hinge joints are type of joints, movable joints, that allow movement only in one direction. Alright? I forget we have the system here. Alright? For example, at your elbow, you can only move your elbow at only one direction, not so. And then even at your knee, can you move your knee upward? Can you do that? No matter how flexible you are, you're going to move your knee upward. You can only move backward. So the type of joint there is what? Hinge joint. Also, there are certain type of joint, movable joints, where the joints are partially arranged over each other. You have gliding and sliding joints, just like here. Okay? At your wrist or at your tarsals, metatarsals. Okay? And then you have pivoted joints. Okay? Joints that allow nodding, just like your atlas and axis. Okay? So those are the types of joints. Now, my co-presenter will go into the structures that we are explaining here. Now, let's talk about injuries that you can have from skeletal system. Who can give me one injury? What disease of skeletal system? Anyone? You have what? Fracture. Good. Clap for him. You have fracture, right? Fracture. And then fracture is further divided into two. You have compound fracture and simple fracture. What is compound fracture? It's a type of fracture whereby the bone breaks and tears the skin, where you can see the blood oozing out from the body. If that happens, what do you have? Compound fracture. Okay. Now, simple fracture is a type of fracture whereby the bone breaks but remains inside your skin. You have simple. So you have to be wise. For example, at WAS level, if you are asked to give 3 types of disease or complications that can affect this system, 2, give fracture and green stick. If they say 3, further divide the fracture into 2. Compound fracture, simple fracture, green stick. You have your 3, alright? So you have to be a little bit wise in answering questions. Now, fracture, and then you have green stick. It normally affects infants, where you have like the bone will partially break, but not completely. You have what? Green stick. And also you have sprain, alright? Where your muscles are overstrained. Okay? You also have bone cancer as a complete part of disease that affects skeletal system. And then the list goes on. Now, how can we take good care of this skeletal system? You participate in you what? Do exercise, alright? You eat good food, that is balanced diet, and also you practice good sitting posture in order to help the backbone or the vertebral column. So with that being said, I will hand over the mic to the
of this
institution, and this is how my co-presenter. The topic of this afternoon's talks of hour is how to prepare hydrogen gas. And we all know that hydrogen is any periodic table with an atomic number of 1, mass number of 1, and it is the only element that exists without a neutral. So therefore, we are here to show you that how to prepare hydrogen gas using a particular method. We all know that it can be prepared using different methods. Example, the action of a metal in an acid. You can produce hydrogen gas. But it is not advisable to use metal like sodium, potassium, and calcium, because There are three reasons why it is not advisable for you to use those elements to produce a hydrogen gas using against an acid. One, the reaction is so exotic.
It is also a school where most of the intellectuals graduate, and they are here to present, or they are here to perform a role play called Human Body. You are highly welcome to this podium. For the first time in the Gambia College, under School of Education, such a magnitude of event is organized. Thank you once again, Mr. President. Thank you, schools present. Thank you, sister schools like University of the Gambia, School of Agriculture, Public Health, and large. Yes, you are all set to be here, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. In the Gambia Science Club members, we will have a role play on body organs. In biology, a cell is known as the basic building block and the smallest unit of life. When similar cells combine into group, they form a tissue. Two or more tissues, on the other hand, combine to form an important entity called an organ. The grouping of different organs result in the formation of organ systems. Organ systems together form an individual, including an eye. There are 78 organs in the human body. Now, listen to some of these organs.
I am the master organ of the body. I serve as the control center just like the CPU of a computer. I control all body functions such as walking, talking, swallowing, breathing, heart rate, and even how to eat and remember things. I am indeed the supreme of all 78 body organs, sitting in this skull, on top of the body and above all other organs.
My friends, shut up. I am the largest, the heaviest, and the hottest internal organ. I work like a filter in a chemical factory. I can perform over 500 different functions in the body, all of which are essential to life. So stop proclaiming your supremacy. I am the might.
And where would that leave me out? This case. Largest organ have a management protector. I cover the entire body and form a barrier which helps prevent harmful microorganisms and chemicals from entering the body. I prevent the loss of life-sustaining body fluid. I protect vital organs inside the body from injury and also from ultraviolet rays of the sun.
What is going on here, my friends?
Hey, shut up, you small one too. Indeed, you are too small for this issue. And what are you ever good at other than being the youngest tube in the body?
Sit. That's an understatement of the sentence. I may be small, but I am one of the most important organs in the body. I digest and absorb food nutrients into the blood, which nourishes all organs, including you, the brain.
You are right, my sister. We work together to digest food that is needed by the body for food, repair, energy, and maintenance. My liver and pancreas are important. Re-entry of my neighbor. I do help in digestion. I produce a substance called the bile, which emulsifies fats in the food. Besides, I also make sure your blood contains the right level of sugar. I detoxify drugs and alcohol and remove worn-out red blood cells and store the ions that they contain. I produce blood protein, including blood clotting factors essential for life.
I secrete digestive enzymes that help in breaking down fats, protein, and carbohydrates from food that has been partially digested by the stomach. And I also produce two important hormones called insulin and glucagon that help to control blood sugar level.
I can't be left out. I also produce an enzyme called renin which helps to regulate blood pressure. I am kidneys, a dark red bean-shaped organ. I remove waste and extra fluid from the blood and make urine. I keep blood composition, water, pH, and salt level constant. I also adjust the body's acid-base balance,
several hormones are produced in meat. One of these, erythropoietin, influences the production of red blood cells in the bone marrow. And when I detect that the number of red blood cells in the body is declining, I secrete erythropoietin. This hormone travels through the bloodstream to the bone marrow, stimulating the production and the release of more red blood cells.
I also excrete some waste products, help regulate body temperature, and above all, I am an important sensory organ.
I filter blood and make urine from waste that it contains. In 24 hours, I filtered around 150 liters of blood and roughly 1.5 liters of urine.
Well said, because the liver fulfills so many vital functions. The body will die within 24 hours if you stop working. Liver store energy in the form of glycogen. Vitamins and other minerals are also stored in the liver.
You are quite right. My importance cannot be overemphasized.
No wonder parts of the same feather fly together.
And again, I wish we never lived in this kind of environment. Unnecessary arguments all the time.
And who cares of your stay in my kingdom? Don't you know that your absence does not pose any threat to our life? People have survived and can live without you.
That's blasphemy of the century. Without me, life would have been practically impossible. All organs depend on me for their survival. I store and break down food. I produce an acid called hydrochloric acid, which is strong enough to dissolve a razor blade. This acid is used to kill harmful germs swallowing food and help with digestion. Look at this desperate fellow, sweating like a watermelon.
Look, don't mind me. I'm just doing my work.
And who are you, poor Pharaoh?
Well, if you must know, I am the heart, the darling of all bodies. I pump oxygen blood throughout. I pump oxygen blood throughout your body and oxygen pour blood to your lungs. Hence my name, double pump. I never get tired. I beat an average of 72 times per minute, 100,000 times every day. All body organs rely on me for survival. Even the master brain cannot work without me. If I stop working for more than few minutes, dates will resolve.
What nonsense! I send the signal to the heart to beat in order to pump blood to all part of the body.
Brilliant! You are quite an interesting fellow. Don't you know that I have my own nerve that initiates the beating action in me? This nerve is called pacemaker. With or without you, I can still pump blood.
You are a homo sapien of narrow comprehension, very narrow-minded. Use me to take.
Oh, shut up, friend. You are very annoying. You really are a pain in the neck. You cannot survive 5 minutes without food and oxygen. And I supply this to you. William Harvey will have crucified you if he is to hear such from you.
That's ridiculous. You can't talk like that. I deliver oxygen to you before you can supply it to the field.
And who are you to address me those? You think you have the monopoly of the truth?
I am the lung, a large spongy organ. Gaseous exchange takes place in me through the process known as breathing. I deliver oxygen to you and remove carbon dioxide from the blood that you pump. The body normally breathes in about 500 milliliters of air 15 times a minute. That is 20,000 times a day. Oh, goodness me.
Oh, goodness me. I wonder what must happen to my children. My family is trembling. Hey, heart, breathe. Enough. Don't you know that you are causing me havoc? This is embarrassing. For kingdom's sake, get back to work now. The time you spent on argument caused me to stop consoling. You are all important and equal to me. I love you all. None of you can live without the other. Together you stand, the better for me. But divided you fall, the end of me. Do you all want to kill me? No. Then get back to work now.
I am the master organ of the body. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Buaga Sano, a student from Gambia Senior Secondary School, and I attend as the master brain.
Stop proclaiming your supremacy. I am the mighty. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Nafisa Samate, a student from Jamisa. I acted as the leader.
The largest organ and the body's best protector. Good afternoon to you all. I am Usman S. Jaju, a student from Jamisa Upper and Senior Secondary School. I acted as the scale. I thank you all.
Hey, look at this desperate
process. Good day to my wonderful audience. My name is Jana Wakande, a student from Jamsa Upper and Senior Secondary School, and I acted as student.
I produce two important hormones called insulin and glucagon. Good afternoon to you all. I am Fatu Baba Kamara, a student from Jamsa. I acted as pancreas. I thank you.
I am the kidneys that are great organ. Good afternoon to you all. I am Umar Dide, a student of Jamisa Upper and Senior Secondary School, and I acted as the kidneys. Thank you.
I am the heart, the darling of all bodies. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Anna Yai, a student from Jamisa Upper Senior Secondary School, and I acted as the darling heart. Thank you.
I am Ilham, a last public organ. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Baba Jam, a student from Jamsa Urban Senior Secondary School. Thank you.
Oh, goodness me. My family is Kremlin. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Abdurrahman Ba, a student from Jamisa Urban Senior Secondary School. I acted as the body.
So that ends our play.
Now let's observe. There's a chemical reaction occurring, and the reaction is exothermic, meaning what it is releasing what heat. So let's time for a moment, because the reaction is somehow slow. So, who can answer my question that I asked? I said, the aluminum we put there is reacting with sodium. So what is the name of that reaction, or what is the name of the compound it is going to form? Yes? Yeah. The reaction is somehow slow. Okay, as we are all observing how the volume it is filling by hydrogen gas. If you look at the reaction here between the aluminum and the sodium, it is called sodium aluminate. The sodium and the aluminum also are reacting. So the gas that is evolving is hydrogen gas, which is being collected by the balloon. So the reaction between the sodium and the aluminum there is called what? Sodium aluminate. So we all know that hydrogen has a lot of benefit or importance in our society. We said it is used also in the synthesis of what? Ammonia. We all know that ammonia is a gas which is used in many aspects as a fertilizer in agriculture. So this ammonia gas is also being prepared using what? Hydrogen and nitrogen gas. So if you react hydrogen gas and nitrogen gas, they produce what they call ammonia. And also in the developed countries, hydrogen is used as a fuel. It is used as a fuel, so I will allow my co-presenter to elaborate one or two this on it.
Good afternoon to you all once again. But as he said, I am Haumane, his co-presenter. I want to elaborate more on the importance of hydrogen. But before hitting the nail to the point, I want you guys to tell me some of the importances of hydrogen. how is hydrogen used, or what is it used for, or what is it important, anyhow you frame it. Importance of hydrogen. How is hydrogen beneficial to us? How is it beneficial to the nation? Well, to continue on, the importance of hydrogen cannot be overemphasized. It is very important. That is why it is the most important element in the periodic table. It used to be said, hydrogen is the most important element in the periodic table, and the reasons are: 1. Hydrogen is used as most fuels in industries. It is used as fuel in most of the industries. When you take a look in this the advanced world where like UK, China, etc. and etc. They use hydrogen to prepare majority of their fuels. And when you come to that of the plants, because I make research. Added to what I am being taught about, I also make research, and I come across with this plant part also. Well, I said, well, I'm not taught about this in class, but how come it is also important in the plant aspect? Then the research I speak. Okay. In the plant aspect, it is the plants, they use it when in their roots. In their roots, when hydrogen is in their root nodules. You remember in agri we talk about root nodules, huh? Not so. The agri students know it better. We talk about the root nodules. Hydrogen is there. The plants use it. And also when you come to the environment, the air, the content of hydrogen too much. That is why hydrogen is regarded as the most important element in the periodic table. It's not only but to emphasize the experiment or the tenure. This is where I stop. Huh?
So what I'm observing, the balloon is what expanding, isn't it?
As you can see, the balloon is filling. Hydrogen is, you can see the stage of the balloon before and then now is different, not so. This is showing that. Well, we have been taught in schools when hydrogen is introduced to fire or source of heat, it will make a sound, not so. Who can tell me what sound does it make? Pop sound, huh? We all know that hydrogen makes a pop sound. That's what we normally say. So we have to experiment it and see what we have been taught about. Is it true or not? Or is it fact or what? You know, this is science. You did the theoretical aspect, then you come to the practical to see what you have been taught, whether it's true or not. So this is.
We have two volumes here, isn't it? What gas is present here? Helium. What gas is present here? Hydrogen, isn't it? So let's observe this, whether you see whether they all produce what the same sound, isn't it? Now let's test this one first. You see? Is it a pop sound? Poop, isn't it? Poop. Now let's observe this one now, you see? Let's go up. This is science. You may rehearse something for 1,000 times, but when you come to the tenure, you might fail. Not so. But we all know that when hydrogen is being introduced to heat, it makes a pop sound. Huh?
Well, we are sorry, this is a failure. This is experiment. It is not in our hands. You know, left to us. Yes. Well,
this beat ain't normal.
And they call you, you know the answer. I say make I call you some more. Yeah, you leave me no choice, so very soon I go appear for your demand. Anyway that I dress on. When I saw you last night at the club, even though I had my dark shades on, I was looking at you all night long. I'm in the middle of the street. How did I ever let you leave? Oh no, why did I drink this Hennessy? And I don't know what come over me, and I just wanna make me come body. Don't want to lose it to nobody, no. My God, you no go free. And I don't know what come over you. As you see me, so I know about you. I swear to God, you can come mad too. You can come mad too. Smarting, cause something got me watching. I might just drunk or something. I'm loving like a monkey, a junkie for your loving. I must be high or something, but now it doesn't really matter because I'm in the middle of the street. How did I ever let you leave? Oh no, why did I drink this Hennessy? And I don't know what come over me, and I just wanna make me come body. Don't want to lose you to nobody, no. My God, you no go free, and I don't know what come over you.
The question was, why science is important in our life as a student? And my answer to the question is that science is very important to us as a student and to everyone at life, because our everyday life involves science. Most of the things we are doing as a human involve science, from the creation to the ending. Science makes life easier, and science makes everything communication, everything in life possible. Like I said, science goes on to be the only physics, chemistry, and mathematics. But we have science, we have political science, we have social science, physical science. So we know all those aspects of science. So that means science is the backbone of a nation. If anything has, or a nation to develop, because science will be the number one priority. The government should encourage and emphasize science as a number one. Science involves technology, mathematics, calculation, everything about science. So if we want to develop as a nation, must take science as number one priority, and everyone follows science will be number one, and every other things will be zero. If you add 1 to 0, you have 10, another 0, you have 100, another 0, you have 100, then we will develop as a nation. Thank you.
Science to be able to save lives outside there. I know that if actually you are passing on the road today, you see someone falling down, and as a science student, you know what is expected of you. You know what you can do to save that life. And when you're walking on the road, someone sees you and says that, yes, I saw this girl one day passing by and she actually saved a life. Won't you be proud to be a science student? Won't you be proud of your teachers? Won't you be proud of your parents for helping you? So today, my purpose of standing here is to motivate you, to make you know why you choose to be who you want to be. One reason, discouragement. Discouragement in science is one of the greatest fears most students would have in them. Maybe you walking on the road today, like in the midst of your friends, you want to be a science student, and the rest of the art students will be like, no, I want to be an art student, science is hard, calculation and all this stuff. No, before going into something, you should know why you are going into that thing. You should know that You want to save life. You want to create the uncreated. You want to make things possible. You want to make people see that things are possible even without the straight means. I hope you understand. Make things easy for yourself by being a science student. It is not actually a crime. You can see what the science students here are showcasing. Understand? You can actually be one of them. You can be proud to be whom you want to be by showcasing, by improving yourself, by helping yourself without the help of your teachers, studying in the night, being proud of what you want to be, like being happy of what you are doing. That is the greatest happiness. Thank you.
The objective
of the presentation will primarily focus on the classification of bones based on shape and classification of bones based on internal tissue organization. So then we also look into the cells in the bones. We also look at the different types of bones of the human skeletal system. So basically this is where our presentation objective focus on. So to begin with, basically when we talk about skeletal system, we say the skeletal system of human, typically here present, include the bones, the cartilage, the ligaments, the tendons, the joints, the muscles. So far, all these components, they work interrelated, they work hard in blocks in order to bring about movement. So, if you look at the bones of humans, adult humans, you have 206 bones. But in children, it's more than that. But you will come to realize that over time, these bones in the children will fuse together to form a single one. So gradually they also have 206 bones. Okay, if you look at the bones of humans, it is divided into two main parts. This is called the axial skeleton, and then you have the other one called the appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton basically is derived from the word appendages, something that is attached, not completely fixed. It can be removed. So it's derived from appendages, talks about the appendicular, if we are to look at the word origin. Now, if you look at this skeletal system, we have two parts. The one we said earlier, the axial skeleton and then the appendicular skeleton. Now, if you look at the appendicular skeleton, you look at the upper extremities and then you also look at the lower extremities. Now, the upper extremities talks about the shoulder bones. If you remove them, and then you also remove the lower extremities, if you remove them, the two lower and then the upper extremities, what you are left with will give you the axial skeleton. Now, if you look at this axial skeleton, it runs from the cranial bone, that is the skull, down to the coccyx. That is the caudal vertebra. We will look into that. But before we go into that, we will look into the importance of bones. What importance? What are the significance of bones in our system? Bone basically provide us with support. It gives us a shape. If you have a big bones, you look strong and giant. If you have small bones or short bones, you look thin, like myself, and then you look short. So this is how, physiologically you have to describe it. It gives us a support. Also, bones, they serve as bank accounts to this thing, calcium. They produce minerals. They serve as storage for minerals like calcium. And then we know the importance of calcium. Calcium plays a key role when it comes to muscular contraction. Of course, when you go to UTG, you look about how muscle contract to bring about movement. The calcium, there is going to be an influx of calcium in the muscles. So that influx of calcium will bring about the movement or the pulling of the muscle or the bone so that you can move. And then also, we know calcium also is important when it comes to conducting impulses.
When you look, if you go to UTG also, you do animal physiology, you come across what we call the axon membrane potential and then the resting membrane potential. So that is the bone. They serve as the storage organ for minerals like calcium. Okay, the other importance of bone is what? They serve as a production site for blood cell. Blood cell like the red blood cell. Of course, we know the importance of red blood cell is to transport food, and then it's also transport oxygen and carbon dioxide around the body. So the red blood cell, the bones, they produce red blood cell in which area? That is in the bone marrow. Okay, then we also go to what? Protection. If you look at our body, most of the internal organs we have in our system are enclosed by the bones. So they serve as a very important protection site. If you look at our cranial bone, this is called the cranium. You have the human brains there, and these human brains almost is the powerhouse for everything we do, from metabolism, so whatsoever you can imagine, it's all controlled by the human brain. So it is encircled or it is encased in the skull. So it serves as a protection site. If you look at our thoracic cavity as well, that is the rib region. This is called the thoracic cavity. If you look at it, you will see there is heart and there are lungs there. So they also provide a protection site for that. Now we move to the last part, that is the leverage. Leverage is from the word lever, and this has to do with what? Force of motion. So the muscle will pull on the bones so that it brings about movement. So basically these are the 5 primary functions of the skeletal system we can discuss here. So away from that, then we move back to the components of the skeletal system. Of course, we talk about the appendicular system, and then you have the axial skeleton. So from here down to the coccyx is where you have the axial. So this one, the upper extremities and then the lower extremities comprise of the appendages or appendicular. And when you remove them, you pack them somewhere else. What you are left with is called the axial skeleton. Now, classification of bone based on the shape and classification of bone based on the internal tissue organization. But today, if you look at the classification of bone based on the internal tissue organization, we will not focus on that. But when we look at it, we will see that the classification of bone based on the internal tissue organization is divided into 2. One, you have the compact bone, and then the other one, you have the spongy bones. So these are the classification of bone based on the internal tissue organization. Now, classification of bone based on the shape, we will look at it. In some books, they will give you 5. In other books, they will give you 6. But from my reference, I would like to use the 6. And then we will look at them subsequently, in subsequent order. Now, classification of bone based on the shape, we have what we call the sutures. That is the sutural bones. Now, away from the sutural bones, then you have the irregular bones. From the irregular bones, we have the flat bones. From the flat bone, we have the long bones. We have the short bone. Then we have the sesamoid bones. So basically, these are the 6 types of bone based on the shapes, how the shapes look like. So we are going to classify it in 6. Now, when we look at these sutures, like my colleague said, these are part of the immovable joint. They don't move. Sutures don't move. They are fixed. And around the skull, the skull can be divided into 2 main parts. You have the cranial bones, and they also have the frontal bones. From here, the whole of this is called the frontal bones, and then the whole of this is called the cranial bones. Now, in the cranial bones, it comprises of the sutures, and these sutures, they are immovable sutures. Now, when we look at these sutures, there are different types of sutures. From what we call the behind here is called the occiput or occipital sutures. Around the side, just around the ear, above the ear, is called the parietal sutures. So here we can have the frontal, you can have the sagittal, and etc. So these are the different sutures we have. They don't move. They don't move at all. Now, in an event, someone has a brain injury, these are ways neuroscientists look at to be able to operate on your brain so that they can look at the potential problems there. So this is called the sutures. They don't move. Now, from the sutures, we have the irregular bones. What do we mean by irregular bones? These bones, they are complex. Their shape look a bit awkward in terms of how you are going to describe it. That is why we call it irregular bone. And this type of bone, they typically comprise of the vertebra. They also comprise of the pelvic. This is the pelvic. And inside, you can have the sphenoid bone, and then you have the zacomytic bone. That is the zacomytic arch here. It is called the cheek. And these types of bone, that is what we call the irregular bones. Their shape is a bit complex. So, if you look at them, the vertebrae is divided into 5 parts, but we will look at that also. Let's go back to another type of bone based on the shape. We talk about the sutural bones, that is the bones around the cranium. They form sutures, they don't move at all. Then we come down, we have the irregular bones. These bones, they have complex shapes. Now we come down to the flat bones. Flat bones, like the names indicate, they have parallel and flat surface. For example, of flat bones here, you can have is the breastbone. We otherwise call it the sternum. Away from that, then you have what we call the scapula. The scapula is also an example of a flat bone. You could look at it, and the surface is flat. That's what we call it, the flat bone. Now, if you look at the surface of the skull, the cranial bone is also flat. It comprises of the flat bones. Are you with me? Now, then you move to another type of bones. This type of bone is called long bones. Why are they called long bones? Because they are longer than their size. In other words, their length is greater than their width. That is why we call them long bone. And typical example of long bone include the bones in the thigh. That is the femur. It is the longest bone in human skeletal system. This is called the thigh. It is a long bone. Now this is also a long bone. You could see. Now you have another long bones here, because if you look at them, their size or length is bigger than their width. That is why we call them the long. Main division of vertebra in human skeletal system. Around here, around the neck, is called cervical. So here we call it the cervical vertebra. There are 7 bones. So this is called the cervical vertebra. Now, below the cervical vertebra, you have what we call the thoracic vertebra, the chest region. And this primarily composed of the ribs. Now, below the thoracic vertebra, you have the lumbar vertebra. Then down, you have the sacral vertebra. Then you have the caudal vertebra. So here, in the caudal vertebra, you can have certain small bones there. We call them the pubis, the ilium, and then the ischium. These are the parts that we normally sit on while we are resting. So, then we look at the bones of the appendicular. That is this one, the upper extremities. This is part of the appendicular system. And this other one also is part of the appendicular system. Now, the whole of these, from chest up, is called the upper extremities. Now, down, you call it the lower extremities. That is what we have for the appendicular system. Now, when we look at the cells found in the bones, we have 4 types. One is the osteoblast, the other one is the osteocyte, the other one is called osteoprogenitor cells, and the last one is called the osteoclast. All of these types of bones, cells, they play a major role in maintaining our bones. The osteocyte typically is the mature bone matrix. The whole surrounding is composed of the osteocytes. Now the osteoblast is the immature bone matrix, and it secretes vital organic compound like lipids. That is the osteoblast. Now the osteoprogenitor cell has what we call the stem cell. Of course, if you do biology in college or in university, you know what is the role of stem cell. So this osteoprogenitor cell has the stem cell, and this stem cell it helps to produce the osteoblast. That is the young one, because it has that ability to regenerate again when it comes to cell division, mitosis and meiosis. So the osteoprogenitor cell has a stem cell that enables it to produce a young osteoblast. Now when we look at the osteoclast, this is completely different from the rest of the bones in the cell. The osteoclast typically is to chew up the bones, to break the bone. That is why we call it class, osteoclast. Now this osteoclast, does it have to break up the bone? Of course, when we talk about the importance of calcium, when it comes to in fact, calcium also play a role when it comes to efficient pumping of blood by the heart. It plays a role when it comes to muscle contraction. It also plays a role when it comes to action membrane potential and then the resting membrane potential. So calcium is very important in these parts. Now the osteoclast is going to chew up the bone, that is to break it. And when it breaks it, it has that enzyme to release calcium. So when calcium is released, now the blood is going to absorb the calcium for metabolism. So in the event the bone is broken by the osteoclast, the osteoblast is going to produce another bones again. So these types of relationship this type of relationship between the osteoclast and then the osteoblast is more or less like homeostasis. When one is down, the other one will be up. So when the other one is up, the other one must be down. So that is how they play a role there. So typically we talk about the classification of bones based on the shape, and then we also talk about classification of bones based on the internal tissue organization. So up here, it is called the skull, and the skull is divided into two parts. You have the cranium, and then you have the frontal bone. The cranium is comprised of the immovable joints such as the sutures. So while the frontal bones has other bones like the maxillae and then the mandible. We know the maxillae and then the mandible are involved in digestion, that is the mastication process. So you have the maxillae up and then you have the mandible down. The mandible is the one that moves. The maxillae is fixed. So the mandible will go up and down when it's during mastication of food. So down, or you have this is called the collarbones. In other words, we call it the clavicles. It is a collarbone. So down here, you have another example of a flat bone that is called the breastbone. In other words, we call it the sternum. So we have the ribs here. Now the ribs, we can have true ribs. We also have false ribs. So the true ribs is the one that runs from the sternum back to where you have the thoracic vertebrae. These are called the true ribs because they run from here, the sternum, going to the thoracic vertebrae. Then down you have the pelvic girdle. Now this hole here, you have the different types of bones there. One we have the pubis, the other one you have the ilium, and the other one you have the ischium. These are the bones of the sacral vertebrae. Now the down one where you have the caudal vertebrae, comprised of the coccyx. So these coccyx, human beings, our tail is modified to form coccyx. But other mammals like dogs, cow, sheep, hyenas, lion, etc., they all have a tail. But that of human, our tail is modified. So on that note, I would like to stop here, and I thank you all for your
Samba.
Okay, as we are all observing how the volume it is filling by hydrogen gas. If you look at the reaction here between the aluminium and the sodium, it is called sodium aluminate. The sodium and the aluminium also are reactive. So the gas that is evolving is hydrogen gas, which is being collected by.
We all know science is about trial and failure until you succeed. So if you want to be a scientist or you want to be part of science, you have to be educated.
They have a lot, like how many ideas they are lot.
Science is never give up, and if you go back to the history of science,
for now we use the phone.
And all other prominent scientists that are in the past, the world we are living in right now, they never gave up. They build on so many atoms before they succeed. Not about science, not about giving up. And as aspiring scientists of the future of this country, like as students of senior secondary school who are studying science and we want to further specialize in different areas, you know where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are as scientists before you even venture into science. The moment you start science, like personally, I'm a scientist, but I hate to do this, so I have to go into chemistry. Because I feel like that bar will be less and dealing with formulas and chemicals as well. Other scientists felt like they haven't good with chemicals and calculations, so they have to get into the quality aspect as well. But as far as you are a scientist, you're going to fail. That is a problem. Whatever atom you take in life, you're going to fail. Where it depends, it's like where your strength is like how long you want to stay in the process to continue working towards what you want. And we as scientists and students who are studying science, we've all known that previously the scientists that we all talk about, the names of scientists that are in books, they have already done their part. So the question is, are we ready to do our part? And how long do we want to strive in pushing the agenda of the science to make sure we are living in the world where we live in betterment? Because there is a quote I want to leave you guys with. Like, there is nothing in this life, nothing in this life, I repeat, nothing in this life is worth or is more important without having the background of science, or without science. Basically, when we say science, a lot of us, we believe that science stops at only physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology, and we are wrong. That's why in the school, in the university, we have the School of Arts and Science. And in the School of Arts and Science, we have social sciences and we have physical and natural science.
We know that carbon dioxide is naturally released by living organisms, but it can also be prepared in the laboratory. So we are here to prepare carbon dioxide using vinegar that we use in our cooking and baking powder, which is also used in cooking. So we are going to use, and also we have the lime water that will help us to indicate that there is carbon dioxide present. We all know that
Lime water indicates the presence of carbon dioxide by turning its color what? By turning its color milk. So we will perform the experiment and you will observe by yourself and see what happens at the end. So we will start by dissolving the baking powder in the bottle. As you are observing, it is putting the baking powder in the bottle. Yeah, now it is putting the lime water in the test tube. Now that is, he's adding the vinegar in the baking powder. Now we observe what will happen to the lime water at the end. As you can observe, it is from afar, but as you are looking here, you are seeing bubbles coming in. So these bubbles are showing that there is a gas that has been evaporated from the other bottle. So that gas that is coming into the other bottle is the carbon dioxide, and as time goes on, the color of the lime water in that other bottle will change milky. So as you observe, when you are seeing the color is changing to white. It was colorless, but now it is changing. Can you all observe? Yeah, now it has finally changed now into completely white. Liquid here, that is the lime water, has turned milky due to the presence of carbon dioxide. That is, you can prepare carbon dioxide in the laboratory using baking powder and vinegar. Now the other one also, in a way in which you can simply prepare carbon dioxide is by using our own breath. When we are breathing out, we all believe that we breathe out carbon dioxide. So we will also perform the same thing and see if this lime water will turn milk. So as he is blowing the air in it, the lime water is turning white, that is, it is turning milk. So this one also shows that the presence of carbon dioxide when we are breathing out. So as you can see, you see the color has changed to milk. So one of the reasons why this experiment is carried out is to be able to identify the presence of carbon dioxide. Because carbon dioxide as a compound, it is important, but in a degree, it can also be harmful to the environment. Because we believe that global warming and climate change, carbon dioxide has a very good role that it plays in changing the environment or in contributing to climate change. So one way in which we can able to carry out experiments to be able to know that there is high presence of carbon dioxide in this area, to be able to reduce its degree of concentration in that area is one way of mitigating climate change in the environment. And also, it is very important because without carbon dioxide, our plants will not be able to produce the food that we need, because they have to use carbon dioxide in order to produce food that they will use in the production of food during photosynthesis. So yeah, and also during fire outbreak, we use carbon dioxide in order to extinguish the fire. That is, it does not support compost.
Good afternoon once again.
No, the iPhone, boy, the iPhone.
If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, happy what you so. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands.
Est-ce que c'est bon? Je suis chaud, hein? afterwards again, I guess now we have, we have gone through the process of nutrition, isn't it? So the water is coming, refreshment also is coming. Now today, we are going to prepare what we call elephant toothpaste. Elephant toothpaste. I guess you all know what toothpaste normally looks like, isn't it? But it's not that elephant who is toothpaste there. It's not that there. It's because of the way the form normally forms. It is big as elephant, so therefore they name it as elephant toothpaste. So the reagents that we have here is we have what we call hydrogen peroxide. And we all know that hydrogen peroxide is an unstable reagent. And we have a catalyst called potassium iodide. It's a catalyst that normally was speed up the rate of chemical reaction. We all know that in the production of oxygen gas, we use hydrogen peroxide and a catalyst in order to speed up the rate of chemical reaction. And we also have a buffer solution called sample. It's a buffer solution. So in this case now, we are going to demonstrate how we are going to produce or prepare elephant toothpaste in different color. Okay, let me.
Good afternoon once again. Before going to the practical improper, I want to ask how many of you has witnessed or has ever done a practical that is called elephant toothpaste? Huh? Good. So we have, I wanted one of the representatives from among you guys, just select one person to come and join us in the experiment. Since you experienced it, we wanted to see.
Which school?
Huh? You can just come.
From respective school, it was.
Brikama Oba and Senior.
I saw somebody's hand behind there. Who is the guy?
Jamisa.
So yourself, be proud of yourself. Huh? Come on.
Jamisa, let it be gender balanced, please. Jamisa.
So you see, this one is like we come up with the idea, but since others has idea or experience on that, so we give them the floor to go on. Huh? Yes, we are giving the floor. Mr. President, can you please move behind? Let us give them the floor. Huh? No, you are giving the floor. You can carry on the experiment since you said.
Okay. In this case now, we have hydrogen peroxide. We put small amount of hydrogen peroxide in each. This is called the bread. Now this is
so the hydrogen
food color. This is food color. We put here, let's say, small. And we put a sample there. Yes. Now let's see now what will happen. So this one first. This is called potassium iodide. It is a catalyst. You know, it's a catalyst what substance that alter the rate of a chemical reaction, isn't it? They alter, means they can either speed or they reduce. Let's see. This is elephant toothpaste. This is called elephant toothpaste, huh?
Like, give it to her.
Yeah, it's Andy, so.
This is called elephant toothpaste. Clap for them. So, in elephant toothpaste, it is in industrial use. They use it to determine the temperature of other substances. So it's also to show the beauty of chemistry. This is chemistry. The beauty of what chemistry. Yeah, so this is what we have for you regarding to elephant toothpaste. The reaction is exothermic, meaning what they release heat. It's exothermic. So I guess some of you have seen the elephant toothpaste, but it's not the elephant normally used to brush that teeth. The flash, take note. Okay, thank you very much for your.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And those that came up here, now you have experience on that, not so. So I challenge you, if you go back, please invent.
Please be in podium to lead us through.
Or two centuries. This change has disturbed the climate pattern of the Earth. However, the concept of global warming is quite controversial, but the scientists have provided relevant data support of the fact that the temperature of the Earth has increased rapidly.
Down here, define adjustment, huh?
Next on the agenda will be drama on the importance of science.
We'll also take you through the precautions that need to be taken when using the microscope. You get that? So, coming to the history of the microscope, this is what we call the microscope. And looking at the history in previous knowledge, we learned that it is not clear who actually or which individual invented the microscope. But according to knowledge also, there are some people who are credited to be people who have developed the microscope. People like Zacharias Janssen and the son Hans Janssen. These people, they were a Dutch spectacle maker who believed that with the spectacle they were making, some of these glasses or some of these lenses they have were able to magnify or make image appear bigger than it is in its physical appearance. We also have another scientist called Anthony van Leeuwenhoek in 1632 to 1723. Who also began in the 16th century grinding and shaping lenses. Anthony van Leeuwenhoek also believed that the quality of his lenses that he made, first time in history, we are able to see some microorganisms. And when we talk about microorganisms, we are referring to things or organisms that cannot be seen with our naked eye. Did you get that? So, Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, with the quality of his lenses he was making, we are able to see microorganisms. And looking at his microscope also, he was able to view or magnify objects or images that appear more than in its physical appearance, meaning the image will be magnified or the specimen will be magnified in its image. You get that? We also have another one called Galileo Galilei, who was believed to be the first person who perfected the first device called microscope. Did you get that? So coming to the microscope, who can tell me what you understand by the definition of microscope, if I may ask, in your previous knowledge? What do you understand by the word microscope? Yes, dear? Very good, clap for him, that is a good try. Can I have another person, please? Yes? concept. The key word there is what? Magnify. You understand? Almost in both the two definitions we had from them, they say these are instruments that are used to what? Magnify images or objects that cannot be seen with our what? Naked eye. That's where the word micro come from. Are you getting me? When we talk about micro, these are tiny, tiny things which cannot be seen with our naked eye. But looking at this microscope here, it can help us to magnify. When we say magnify, we are referring to what? To enlarge something, to make something appear bigger than it is. So in making use of this microscope or in understanding how this microscope works, there are two basic things that you need to know. That is one, magnification, and two, resolution. That is MR, the mister. Did you get that? When we talk about magnification, it's referring to how many times bigger the object appears. And looking at resolution here, it is also referring to what? The sharpness, the fineness, and the clarity of the object that is being viewed through the microscope. An object can appear bigger or an object can appear larger, but that doesn't mean that the object will be what? Clear. So looking at resolution here is referring to the what? Fineness or the sharpness of an what? Object or the clarity of an object that is being viewed in the microscope. So this is the microscope that we have here, which has different parts. Are you seeing that? This is the what? Microscope. Basically, we have different type of microscope, like the compound microscope, the electron microscope, and the light microscope. We also have another microscope that is the hand lens. It is a microscope because it is used to magnify images, especially in laboratories. Looking at the field of academia, this microscope is very useful or is very important because it helps us a lot in seeing things or magnifying what? Certain things that cannot be seen with our naked eye. It helps us a lot in our study, especially these unicellular organisms, and also like the cell, unicellular organisms like the amoeba, paramecium, and the like. So with the help of this microscope, we can be able to see them through by its what? Image being magnified. You should note that when viewing an object in a microscope, the physical appearance of that specific object remains the same. But it is only the image that is being magnified. Is that clear? The physical appearance of a specific object or thing that you are viewing in the microscope remains the same physical size. But looking at the microscope, the image will be magnified through the what? Magnifying lens. That's why we have different lenses. I will take you through the parts of the microscope. My co-presenter will explain the functions of each part. We will also have our practical, that is what? To view certain instruments or objects using the microscope like the plant cell. We also have prepared slides like the amoeba, paramecium, and other stuff. You get that? So looking at this, we have different parts. And the first part of the microscope we can see is the eyepiece lens here. Are you all seeing this? Hello? This part of the microscope here is what we refer to as the what? Eyepiece lens. Are you getting that? After the eyepiece lens, we also have the nosepiece lens. Are you seeing that? Looking at the microscope, it has different magnifying objects. The rotating nosepiece lens is where the objective lenses are attached. This is called the rotating nosepiece lens. Hello? Bonjour, Minister. Don't distract this class, please. Yes. If you don't mind, you can bring the bonjour, we magnify it here. This is the rotating nosepiece here we have, where the objective lenses are attached. This objective lenses has different magnifications. And this magnification, we have objective lens that have a magnification of 4. The second objective lens has a magnification of 10. And the third objective lens has a magnification of 40. So when you are viewing a specimen in this microscope, this magnification lens, the objective lens that you are going to use, determines how big that specimen is going to be. And we have the eyepiece lens which has a magnification of 10. So if you want to calculate the magnification of the specimen that you are viewing, you are going to times the magnification of the eyepiece lens plus the magnification of the objective lens that you are going to use. Example, if you are to use the objective lens that has magnification of 4, you will times 4 by 10. That will give you 40. And if you are to magnify image using the magnification lens, objective lens that has magnification of 10, you will times that 10 by 10. And the same thing also applies to the magnification of 40. Did you get that? So the other thing we have here is the cost adjustment. This you are seeing here is what we call the cost adjustment. No. The second one here is referred to as the fine adjustment. No. Are you seeing that? Is that clear? After the fine adjustment, where I am handling here is called the arm of the microscope. We also have the base of the microscope here. This is the base. As you can see, this is the lens, the mirror here. This part of the microscope is referred to as the stage where the specimens to be viewed is mounted on. We also have the stage clips here. Are you seeing this? These are the stage clips. Aside from that, we also have the diaphragm here, below the stage. Is that clear? So we also have another hole here that is found on the base, which is referred to as the aperture. So I will love to stop here and allow my co-presenter to complete the rest, and we go into the practical session. I thank you all for your wonderful kind attention.
Yes, good afternoon to you all. My name is Adam Ture. I will continue from where my co-presenter stopped. Now, if you check the microscope, what normally happens? It is classified into two aspects. One of the aspects is the structural part, and also we have what we call the optical part. Now, if you take the structural part, it is divided into 3 areas. We have what we call the head, we also have what we call the arm, and at the same time the base. These are the things that give you the structural part. Now, if you check the optical, these are the parts that are used in magnifying. Like example, you have the lenses. Now if you take this lens, they are divided into 3. You have the low power objective lens, like this is the rotating low space. This one rotates the lens. Now the small one is the low power. We have the high power, and at the same time you have another one called the scanning power. Now based on this, what normally happens when you have to do a specimen, there is a part as a whole that normally allow light to pass through. That's where we regard it as the aperture itself. Now the aperture will allow the light to pass through it. Now if you take this, we are now moving to how to mount a slide of a plant cell. Now you take the plant cell, we have what we call onion. Now if you take this onion, what we are going to use, we have the onion as a plant, obtained from the kingdom planting, and at the same time we have what we call the iodine solution. Now this one is a solution that you will drop on the part of what you extracted from the onion, known as the epidermal cell. It looks like a white structure that you released from the onion, and at the same time you mount it on a stage and drop some iodine solutions. Now if you take these slides, there are slides that are prepared already. Those ones are called the prepared slides. Now those ones, we have mostly like, there are 2 that we mount. We mount a plant cell over there. We also mount one of an animal cell, but that one is prepared already. Now we are going to show you how we normally prepare this plant cell when it comes to this specimen. Yes, can we have another participant from this?
Can we please have other participants from each school to carry out this practical? Because sorry, all of you might not have the chance to look through the microscope, but we can allow some of you to be coming and seeing some of the specimens that we are going to mount on the microscope. Is that okay? Because we are running out of time and that will consume.
You are going to cut the onion. Either it's going to be in a form of transverse section or longitudinal section. If you cut it straight like this, that one is longitudinal. Or if you cut it horizontally, that one is transverse section. Now what we normally do is we
peel the onion, and take something out inside as the epidermal cell. Now that's what we are going to take and place it on a slide. Take a slide. So we have a slide. Now we are going to put the epidermal cell on this slide and also drop what we call the iodine solution. Now we are taking a dropper, and at the same time we drop it under this epidermal cells. Now this is an iodine solution. Who knows why are we putting this iodine solution on the epidermal cells? Why do we put this iodine solution on the epidermal? Why? We use the iodine solution so that it can help us to observe the cells that we are trying to build. Because this iodine solution is just like a string that we are going to put. Now what happens if you put it there, it's going to make things more observable so that you can view visibly. Are we together? That's why we normally put the iodine cell. Then from there, we are going to put now, immediately after dropping it, what you are going to do, you are going to take a cover slide. Now, that's what you are going to put on top of it to prevent what? The bubbles of air to stain on it. Now, if you put the cover slide, what you are going to do, you are going to mount it on what? On the microscope at the stage. Because the stage is the place where we mount the specimen. And at the same time, the stage clip will help the old one to hold the slide. So, we are going to move the stick and you place the slide. Now click it properly. Now after you prepare your slide, mount it on the stage, what you are going to do, you are going to use the eyepiece lens to view. Now, in the process of viewing, we have two parts. We have the coarse adjustment and also the fine adjustment. Now, if you check the coarse adjustment, they are both responsible for adjustment, both the coarse and the fine. But if you check the coarse adjustment, this one will normally be what? The body tube. Because this one is what? Is the body tube inside. Now, at the same time, you just give a small focus. But if you check the fine adjustment, that one gives what? A quartz crack, whereby the things are going to be clear. Now, if you check at that part, what normally happens, we have to have a source of light. Because this lens or the mirror should reflect a source of light. And at the same time, you can able to view the specimen for you to see through the parts. Now, there are the ones where we can able to have the source of light. Though we can have here a source of light, but then it's not enough. Because if you check the aperture, it's required, each requires an amount of light that will pass through, so that you can able to view the specimen. So that one is a prepared specimen, but the other one is what? Is an onion, is a plant cell that we obtain as an epidermal structure. So that's what we place there. So after mounting clearly, you can go and verify and see the parts of that particular onion.
We are looking at some of the things or materials that we have in our households, and then how flammable are these materials, and then we are going to use such materials here to show it to you that some of these materials that are in our households, they are flammable, and then we should adhere to safety precautions in case to prevent such fire outbreaks and other things. So my name is Mutla Sane, and then next to me is Khadija to IK Sane, and that of Mohammed Baj. Yes. Okay, you can see right in the bucket here, we have water, and then this water, certain amount of matter sample, that is some was put here. So now they are going to use it to stir it or to mix it, so that the mixture will take place. Now, okay, in addition to that, they are going to add bug insecticide spray there. That is also going to help us. Okay.
Mine is already ready. Pretty much? Yes.
Okay. Now here we witness another edition. Now this is it. You can see. Okay. He stays safe. Now, now we have to be very mindful of some of the chemicals or materials that we have in our households, because like you can see, these are materials or things that we use on our daily basis, and then we can see using this tool with a mixture in the water, and then it was able to give out flame. So we have to be very mindful, and this is what we have for you. We thank you all for your wonderful time.
I will take you through global warming, the causes of global warming, and some of the impacts that it has on the lives and the livelihoods of the people, and some of the solutions that we have can remedy in our society. Greenhouse effect, that is what I'm going to start with. Greenhouse effect. This is the process in which the emission of infrared radiation by the atmosphere of the planet surface. This is what we call greenhouse effects. Greenhouse effects is also something that has connection with global warming. The gases that we have on the atmosphere or on the Earth's surface, those are the ones that will come by and escape or emigrate to the atmosphere. And as a result of that, they will come back again to the Earth's surface. And as a result of that, we will cause some challenges for some of the problems that we are encountering as a result of the emission of those gases into the atmosphere. There are gases that are important as far as the air and atmosphere are surrounding the surface are concerned. Yeah, some of the gases that you are seeing there are the ones that will emit or move the atmosphere, and that will come back again to we human beings. And when they come to we human beings, we face some of the problems that sometimes lead to sicknesses and sometimes lead to deforestation and other things. So these are some of the gases that we have. Methane is also one of the gases that we have, and carbon dioxide, water vapor, and ozone. The warming area near the Earth's surface due to the trapping of the heat radiation, such as infrared radiation, by some gases is called global warming. So basically, the gases that will be eliminated to the atmosphere, when they are there, they will combine for some time, then they will come back to the Earth's surface. That will cause disaster for us as human beings. So the process, that is what we refer as global warming. So now straight to the causes of global warming. Cutting down of trees absorbed by carbon dioxide. So as a result of cutting down of trees, we have sometimes very normal in our society. People will embark cutting down of trees, and at the end of the day, they will not replace them with other trees. So as a result of that, we contribute immensely to the cause of global warming. So the other effects we have is burning wood. Burning of wood, sometimes people embark on charcoal burning. So when they are burning the charcoals, they go to the bush and fetch out the firewood that they will burn, and they will transform them into charcoals. So other use is to make to push their economical stage. But then it also has some of the problems that cause to the human beings. And other the very serious of global warming, sea level rise that may result in drought and fall. So as a result of the gas, it will come back to us as it also causes what we call drought. Drought is caused as a result of global warming, so we need to be very mindful with that. And the other problem that it causes is the increase in atmospheric temperature. That is very factual. Nowadays, you see people complaining about hotness, and that hotness is caused by global warming. How does it cause by global warming? So the gases or some of the activities that we involve in that lead to global warming. Some of those gases into the atmosphere. So when atmosphere also releases them back to us with human beings, you also encounter hotness. That is sometimes people have to go or to be indoors to be retrieving themselves from the hotness. Reduction of land, heat and land water. Yes, sometimes it also goes to that. The land size of the environment which also has the global warming also causes impacts on it. And the plants and animals are in danger. Yes, we human beings we are old man, and of course plants science established the fact that the plants also they are also living. So when they are also living, some of the problems that we human beings face, the plants and animals of course they also face it. So as a result of global warming. How to reduce global warming? Planting more trees. Yes, that is very right. Like if we want to reduce the rapid rate of global warming or some of the problems that it causes for us, we human beings, if we want to reduce it, we have to embark on tree planting. If we plant as more tree we plant, the lesser effects or problems that we will face from global warming. So I challenge everybody here to embark on tree planting so that we will abstain ourselves from global warming. Yes,
Yes, since we say that planting more trees.
Observing rivers and observing mountains. I climb onto those mountains and I swam onto those rivers. Just to deliver you this message. The message is all about the importance of science. So my wonderful audience, sit back, relax and enjoy. But not only to enjoy, learn something from it as we are educated. Thank you.
But I don't know what is the problem with my boss. Tell a boss I'm going to, you know. I'm going to see off the Malu and then I'm you know. Come on, please. Of course, when you work in the boy paper, I'm going to get a I can't find from work.
Yes. Next. Knock knock. Doctor. Yes. C6. Since when? Last week. Last week? Yeah. Okay. What's your name? Aisha. Aisha room. Come on. 8. 19. Okay. Aisha, what's your problem?
I'm suffering from fat and stomach. Fat and stomach.
Fat? Okay, fine. I think that's the first time hearing this disease though. Let me just call my boss because I have no idea about it. Okay. Doctor! Yes? You have a
present here to attend. Doctor, I'm just sitting here. I was going to sit down.
Boleh problem ada? Fine. Kau bila balik fine? Aku kenal lu semua wadah dunia semua kamu dah pun. Aku kan dua orang orang kando kamu dah. Lapor tak cara. Okay, kalau lu musa sih balik. Oke. Tanda bilang yang perasaan boleh ada Friday.
Bos, spero che mio mamma con i come muoia la perca.
Kita mungkin nak tahu nanti kan kita boleh soal kamu mau file dia apa dia.
Dia mau file dia apa ni?
Tiada yang boleh soal kamu. Baru dia orang sini.
Imajo mo na dia lewat mo so ka ni file dia. Dia tadi dia kita ke jodoh nak baru dia tadi cengol.
Pain and stomach ache.
Sorry?
Pain and stomach ache.
Okay. Pain and stomach.
Ego jara.
Minum.
The man that they are for the family.
Name results and regular. Fine.
What is happening? What have you done to my daughter?
This is your fault. You didn't let this display on your
I'm not the one who gave her the medicine. You are the one what's happening?
It's like the patient is given error medication. Please give her this. Who even gave her this medication? Can you please tell me the truth? I'm serious about this.
He's the one who diagnosed her. I didn't diagnose her.
You gave her the wrong medication. Why are you giving her the wrong medication? This is so ridiculous. How can you just give someone the wrong medication without knowing the sickness? Huh?
What? You want to kill my daughter? My one and only daughter?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
This is very tedious. You don't know you are...
Call the police.
Sorry, no, wait.
I don't call it.
No, you don't understand. Wait, just 2 minutes.
Wait, I have to tell you something. This is a police case, let me tell you.
You say?
You are triggering her condition. You don't know that? She can even die out of this condition, you don't know that?
Hey!
What do you think you are doing? This is a police case. Please,
police report.
Please, call police.
Hello? Mr. Boom? Hello? Is it Mr. Boom? Hello?
I can remember in 2016, I was refused to get out of this country. I was the only man who entered in the state house. These people, ECOWAS was here with those big gunners. I just sit inside the state house. I told Mr. President, can you please do this, please? He said no. I just called the lady. I said, lady, please can you?
We don't call you for that.
What is
call you for
and you know sometimes I'm happy.
No, you don't have to do that. This man here, this empty-headed man, who called himself a doctor, fake doctor. He gave her wrong medication. Is that good? So you know the consequences of that.
Sorry.
Please, you gave her wrong medication.
No, wait.
What did you want to say?
Don't call me a fake doctor.
You want to kill yourself.
I'm having my PhD. And you are telling me
Sorry, okay. My brother, can I ask one question? Which field did you study?
Sorry, sir?
I said, which field did you study?
I'm all of field.
Field?
Yes.
Okay, SSP.
What field? I said, study. In your senior secondary school, which of the field where you study? That's what you are asking. You are making yourself as your answer.
Okay.
Is it commerce or arts? Or technical or science?
Now I understand. You know, since I came there, when my teacher asked me, immediately when I finished my school, what do I do in the future? And I said,
No, please stop this police call. Please arrest him.
Okay, wait. I will ask you for the last time. Because I was the only one who made the identity afraid. Did you study arts or commerce or technical or science?
I studied arts.
So you study arts. So by explaining now, you go to the Harimabaya. Harimabaya now is Manchester United. Harimabaya now assists the strikers now to score the goal. Now you are helping the angels to kill our this young man here. No, this guy, Abu, I am Dr. Abdul. Now you are now you are no more Abu, now you are Harry Abdul Nos. Because what happened now, you are helping the angels to take this beautiful lady. And I was planning to marry this lady. Let me tell you one thing. If you know you don't have any knowledge about science, this is common in this environment. People are studying science, they are getting themselves in the nurses. Why not?
I have no choice, bro. In this country, immediately I finished my doctorate, I started to work in the whole country. I couldn't have finance. I couldn't jump. That's why I decided to go and study nursing.
Police, you are on the other. Sorry? I said you are on the other.
I'm going to on the other.
It doesn't mean that we are being hard on you. We are trying to
since I'm taller than you, now you are over honest. Now you are over honest.
Since we know that this medical personnel is very important in our daily life, and it could be somehow risky also. Because being a doctor without you having any knowledge in the field of doctor, when you get to some people, you don't study science and you say they are going to do nursing or medical, they will tell you, but I studied in like that institution. But the fact of the matter is, your senior secondary school gives you the foundation, and foundation is the most important thing in everything we are doing. So, before you have to go in for something, you have to have the knowledge, you have to know the thing up to your fingertips. So, thank you, my name is Anna. Thank you.
Thank you. Before you go into anything, you need to have a clue about it. And again, knowledge, wisdom, and ethics lacks a lot in most of the professional institutes of this country. At times, how we the teachers work at school, how the nurses and the doctors work at our hospitals, it is at times worrisome. But that doesn't mean we should not change the system. We can all change the system if we are ready to do so. We need to take our work seriously, and that starts from you guys. Hence, you are in senior school. Take your classes seriously. Take your work seriously. Take your assignments seriously, more so your homework, so that the laziness will not be impacted on you. So that the attitude of lackadaisicalness will not be instituted in you. If you install a very good behavior in senior school, that is the same trend you will continue to the Gambia College or University of the Gambia. And again, you will train to be a very good functionary and work in this country. We have well-experienced personnel in this country. They need an applause. They are really working hard. But at times, you also have bad people. And those bad people are not influencing the good ones in our community. So I wish all of us, more especially we the third-year students, by July, August, we will see ourselves in various schools within the region. Please, when you are posted down there, do your utmost best. Do as well as you can. So away from that, we'll move to another practical that is going to be the flame practical. And after that flame practical, I will give chance to Mr. Evans to address the climate change that we are facing. So the flame family, are you set?
For a reaction to occur, particles must collide, but not all colliding particles lead to a chemical reaction. Mr. Principal, Head of School of Education, Head of Science Department, coordinators, respected guests from the University of the Gambia, Science Association, clubs coordinators from respective schools, media, students, and my fellow student teachers. I greet you all in the Islamic way by saying Assalamu alaikum to you all. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the life and energy to witness this auspicious occasion, which is the Gambia College Science Day. In science lies the progress of a nation. Dear audience, the success of a nation is directly proportional to the advancement of science and technology. Therefore, we are the hope of our nation. As we, the future scientists of our beloved nation, the heart of our country, we are the ones that should develop our country. Do we expect the outsiders to come and develop our country for us? No. It is not yet over until all is over. When there is life, there is hope. The past and the present is not our fault. But if we slapdash our present, then the future will be our fault. However, remember, when gases react, they do so in
and I don't know what come over me, and I just want to make me come party. Don't want to lose it to nobody, no. But God, no go green. And I don't know what come over you. As you see me, so I know bad do. I swear to God, you can come out to. You can come out to. Smarting, cause something I've been watching. I might just drunk or something. I'm loving, 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 loving.